Connor Bedard opts out of the World Championships. The Rockford Ice Hogs win Game 1 in Milwaukee. John Cooper is staying. Mike Sullivan's the coach of the Rangers. There's so much to talk about. Let's do it next on CHGO Blackhawks. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. Happy Friday. I'm Jay Zawoski. That's Mario Tirabassi. Katie Duffy's here.
Hello.
Running the show. We've got our nice Team Canada Patrick Sharp jersey on set, and with good reason. We'll get to that in a moment. Before we get to anything, you have to hit that like button for us and subscribe to our YouTube page as well. And if you're listening on the podcast, we love you. We respect you. We adore you. Make sure you're following or subscribed on your favorite podcast app. And if you got some time this weekend, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We would really appreciate that. Lots to get to today. NHL playoffs. The Ice Hogs win. There's news and notes around the NHL. Mike Sullivan is off the board, but we're going to start with Connor Bedard. We got the news. Well, we saw yesterday the initial roster for Team Canada's World Championships team. Connor Bedard not on there. Scott Powers of The Athletic did some digging and reports that Connor Bedard was invited to play for Team Canada and opted to skip it and focus on his offseason training. I think that is outstanding news.
Jay,
I'm here for it.
You're burying the lead.
What?
Connor Bedard snubs Canada.
All caps, snubs.
No, in all seriousness, when we talked about it yesterday and the list came out, my initial thought was he would have been on that list. Those are all players that were either recently knocked out of the playoffs or weren't in the playoffs. He would have been on that list if he was going to be playing. So as much as it felt like maybe he might be he might be trying to figure out what he's doing, I think it's clear that, going into this offseason, he's going to be focusing on the NHL season ahead.
Good.
And I think that that's completely fine. I think with the way his rookie year went, the whirlwind it was, he played in the World Juniors, the World Champ. I keep doing that, World Juniors. World Championships last season for Canada, and just kind of like extended that year for him. He played well. But I don't necessarily think that just playing in the World Championships did anything to really negatively impact his offseason. But I think this year, knowing how this season had gone, maybe mentally he was just ready for rest and revitalize his body and get ready for the summer workout program, which I would think will be different than he's done in years prior.
I would think so. And this is something we learned from Ryan Donato this year, that as guys get older in their careers, they learn to specialize their offseason training, right? Like you can go to the rink and you could shoot 10,000 pucks and hit 10,000 posts and skate around and do all those sort of things.
It's a bad shooting percentage.
Right. Maturity, well, they're aiming for the post in practice, so that would actually be good.
I gotcha.
But as you mature and you identify the issues that need fixing, and Connor Bedard did so on his own, basically saying he needs to add a step of speed, I think that will be the primary focus of his offseason. And if he can add a step or two to his skating ability, which is possible, Ryan Donato did it and was rewarded with a 31-goal season, that's going to make the difference in a lot of those opportunities for Bedard where it looks like a breakaway and maybe it's the end of a shift and he can't quite get away, can't quite get that burst to break away from the defenders. If he can pick up that burst, you're going to look at 5, 6, 7 more points on the year, which maybe doesn't feel like a ton, but that could be 2, 3 more wins.
Makes a difference.
And that's one guy. You know what I mean? Like it would make a big difference. So I'm glad that he is recognizing that there's some things that need work. He knows what they are. And this is what we said all season when it seemed like every post game where Connor Bedard didn't have a multi-point game, people would say Bedard is slow, Bedard is slow. Well, what we have said all along is don't worry. Connor Bedard is aware of it and will work on it. And that's exactly what he's going to do. And I'm really glad he's doing it.
And a lot of it, too, can come down to just physical maturity. He's still 19.
Yeah.
Like, he's still going to have to go through some, physical maturing. And, guys who get to 22, 23, 24 years old, that's, for a professional athlete, that's like when you likely are at the beginning of your best years, your prime years. So he's not even there yet. So, last year it was pretty noticeable that he wasn't as fast as he was last year. Jay Fresh, if you're unfamiliar, is one of the premier public analytics people on social media for hockey, posted the slowest NHL forwards of 2024-2025.
Yeah, I saw Ben Pope retweet that.
He did. The top sustained speed, miles per hour. The slowest was Patrick Maroon. The second slowest sustained top speed of the season was Matthew Tkachuk, actually, at 20.7 miles per hour. But also on that list was Connor Bedard at 21.4, tied with teammate Tyler Bertuzzi. Then you get into the bursts per 60 of 20 miles per hour and 18 miles per hour. Bedard isn't on that list, but basically his top sustained speed was one of the 25 slowest amongst forwards of last season. So that's not a category you want Bedard to be in. So I know not a lot of his game is predicated on straight line speed, but you also want to see Bedard be able to play faster than a fully realized Tyler Bertuzzi.
Yes. I think that's a fair thing to say.
Yeah.
And I do think that those could be potentially a little bit skewed because he is kind of Bedard's like a guy who's always kind of looking for the opportunity, kind of circling slowly, trying to find his space. He's not a straight ahead north and south skater. He's not like McKinnon who's going to blow by you. Hopefully he'll never get to that level, but hopefully he can get to that a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But I would imagine that like if you went back over the years and looked at Patrick Kane in his prime, you'd probably find him similar because they're playing, I call it almost like a predatory style of offense where it's just slowly finding those spots, finding open ice, those sort of things. So he's working on it. Connor Bedard is a guy that the Blackhawks have had problems getting off the ice, saying, dude, you're overdoing it. You're doing too much. You need to take a break.
Play less hockey.
There's no reason to believe that he is not going to put the work in necessary to get better.
Absolutely.
He wants to be great. When he's not having success, he's frustrated, which is why everyone outside of Chicago thinks he wants out of Chicago because he looks frustrated. There's nothing to worry about here with Connor Bedard. He is a give it all, hockey only, hockey robot. There's no Madison bars. There's no Buffalo cabs. He is focused on hockey, and that's it. So if you want to be one of those people that bets against Connor Bedard, feel free to sign the chat right now and say, I am betting against Connor Bedard to get better and to add speed to his game, and we'll save it, and we'll show you it next season, because if you're doing that, you're just trolling. I mean, the kid has an astronomically great work ethic, and if he applies it and focuses it where it needs to be focused this offseason, he's going to look a lot better next year.
Good points also made in the chat here by Deadhawk and by Nate as well, chat regulars. The amount of time Bedard has spent over the past two seasons having to play defense and having time spent in his own zone before being able to get offensive opportunities likely doesn't give him the most opportunities to play with a full gas tank on a shift at his top speed. So hopefully that changes very soon. But yeah, I'm not concerned about the speed aspect. Now, if he comes out next season and is just as quote unquote slow, we'll have to see what the team looks like around him as other players are either joining the team or also continue to develop. But if he's just as slow and has the same kind of production, same kind of impact, then I think I'd be like a little, I don't know, not worried, not uneasy, but just there'd be that little seed of just like, what is the speed of his game going to be? Because now that would be 3 seasons in the NHL, 2 full professional off seasons. Like what is that aspect of his game going to be? And like you said with Patrick Kane, he was a faster player, but he was more shifty than he was straight line fast. Mm-hmm. And that worked for him because he spent a lot of time in the offensive zone. So that style of play where, it's almost like kind of like a half ice offensive style, but super deadly because you can score or set up teammates at an elite level. You don't necessarily need to be that fast, but if you're getting breakaway chances and you're not converting them, or you're not winning one-on-ones in those scenarios, you're not the first to the puck in one-on-one battles and stuff, that can pile up, and I don't know. Well, it all remains to be seen.
Yeah, look, I don't think it's possible for, if he works on his speed, it is a 19-year-old. It's not going to be like, nope, it's maxed out. Of course it's not. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's improving stride, improving leg strength. Now, he's, like you said, he's not going to become Connor McDavid or Nathan McKinnon, but if he can gain a step, that's going to be a big enough difference. And look, even if somehow he's the one human being incapable of gaining speed at 19 years old, you still know what you got in him points wise, and he's not tapping out at a 60-some point player. Everyone knows that. Like, you look at the guys he's played with, you look at the line mates he's had, you look at the teams he's been on. As soon as this team adds more talent and or more talent develops, those numbers are going to go up. So it's fine. He's identified it. He's working on it. Like, if Ryan Donato can add speed, Connor Bedard can certainly add speed. I don't know. There's people in the chat like, I don't know. We'll see. What will we see?
You want to see what, all those elements of his game can max out to be. And you're right. He's not going to be maxed out at, he'll be 20 next season, at the start of next season. He's not going to be maxed out at 20. Nathan McKinnon wasn't maxed out at 20. No one was maxed out at 20 that is on the level that Bedard can get to and already is at. So yeah, I mean, it's one aspect of his game that needs improvement, but every player from, rookie to, 15-year veteran in the offseason is looking to improve their game, even if they are quote unquote maxed out as their own player or not. Like, no one should go into an offseason and say, I'm just going to stay who I am. Because if you're not improving in the world of professional sports, you're basically taking steps back.
Well, I mean, just think about it too. Connor Bedard enters the league at 18. Everything has always come incredibly easy to him. So his offseason training is, like I said, the basic stuff. Mm-hmm. Shooting, light skates, playing in the roller league when he feels like doing that. Like, it is not pinpointed to a certain thing. Then wins the Calder. Maybe numbers weren't quite as high as everyone thought, but he had an injury, so okay, fine.
Right.
Goes about the same training or similar training again the next offseason. Then in year 2 is like, all right, there are some definite things I need to fix here. Identifies them and does them. Great. I don't think there's any red flags there at all. I think this kid is fully aware of what needs to get done, and he's going to get it done.
Well, and we saw with Lucas Reichel, too. This is now, his 3rd professional season?
Yep.
And now he's gotten to the point where he's like, well, you know what? I need to work on specific things to get better. So it takes, each player sometimes needs a wake-up call in different fashions to tweak how they go about the offseason and go about how they, prepare and everything like that. Wayne Gretzky didn't have the same offseason regiment his entire career.
No.
It'll change and it'll evolve based on, what guys need to improve on, what they want to do, and how they want to, how they want to respect the game.
All right, we're going to hit the break zone. Back with myriad NHL news and notes next on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. And if you've ever tried to buy a home, get a loan, or just deal with money stuff in general, it can be a lot. That's why we're going to tell you about the Rate app. And it's seriously a game changer. You can get pre-approved for a mortgage in minutes without the need to jump through a million hoops. And if you're thinking about a home equity loan or a personal loan, you can secure one in under 15 days. I remember when I was buying my house, it's like the offer and then a counter offer, and then you're waiting for a response, and then you're under contract, or oh my God, it's such a pain.
Contingency.
Yes, exactly. The Rate app also helps you find the best homeowners and auto insurance based on what you actually need. The whole thing is powered by AI, or as some call it, A1. So it's smart and saves you time and money. And something that is an unexpected bonus, they've added over 800 free wellness videos.
That's a lot.
I'm in. Stuff like meditation, breathing exercises, stretching, basically tools to help you feel better mentally and physically. So if you're stressed out about a loan or your mortgage, seriously, just let the Rate app handle it. Once that's covered, you can go hit one of their free wellness videos to chill out. It's one app that helps both your wallet and your well-being. Download the Rate app today to get started.
I feel good just doing those little stretches.
That was good.
That was nice.
You had a video queued up. I saw it.
Perfect. And hey, just like the Rate app will give you an advantage in your wellness and your financial needs, your home needs an advantage with your floors. And our friends at Empire Today can give you that home floor advantage. Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day of their life. You ask them, hey, did you see the game last night? They said, no, I was reading up on the newest developments in hardwood flooring and sealant. That's what they do. They don't watch the Stanley Cup playoffs. They watch flooring videos.
More stuff about floors.
Just studied up on floors. They are to floors what Ryan Donato's skating coach is to getting players faster.
Wow.
They just know how to improve your flooring from, I would say top to bottom, but that'd be ceiling to floor. It's just bottom to bottom.
Wall to wall.
Straight across the bottom. Yep. Empire Today has your floors covered. And why is Empire your best bet for new floors? It's because their experts will bring the showroom directly to you. You can pick the right flooring that you need, and that will match the right colors in your space. It'll match your furniture. It'll match the aesthetic you want in your house, and you can get the precise measurements needed so that all of your questions are answered and there are no surprises. With Empire Today, you also get clear, upfront, and inclusive pricing, and you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. So schedule a free in-home estimate today, because some things are just better at home. CHGO listeners can receive a $350 discount when using the promo code CHGO. That's right, $350 discount with the code CHGO. Again, restrictions do apply. Visit empiretoday.com/CHGO for full details.
All right. Hockey news. Tons of stuff. We're going to rifle through it. Then for the last half of the show, we're going to share our list of the top 5 one-year only Blackhawks of our career. It'll be fun. This is
our top 5.
Yes, this is in honor of Marc-Andre Fleury's career ending as Minnesota was eliminated by the Golden Knights last night. So let's
like I predicted. Might I say, I was 4 for 4 last night.
Good job.
Yeah.
My Western Conference champion's still alive. That's good.
You said there'd be 7 or 7.
I was hoping
game 7.
That was more wishful thinking.
That's more dramatic. That's more fun. But no, 3 closed it out last night.
Yep. All right. So here's quick news. Mike Sullivan, officially the Rangers head coach. There are whispers that John Tortorella might join his staff. Darren Dreger of TSN said, I'm not so sure about that. So there's that. Cross him off the list. This seemed like pretty much a done deal the second he became available. It was either New York or Boston.
Right. Yeah. You would have had to I mean, he already might become the highest paid coach in the NHL.
Yes.
With this deal when the details come out of it. So I don't know how much higher of a highest paid coach you would have had to make him
$100 million.
pull him away from one of those opportunities. But yeah, I mean, it's like we've talked about with the whole head coaching search. As many coaches as there are available, as many candidates as there are, some of them have either expressed directly or, you know, I'm sure in meetings or in phone calls or whatever, would express they don't have the time or the interest in a team that's not going to contend. And Sullivan leaving Pittsburgh, a team that is about to very likely give up on trying to contend, and going to the Rangers, who should have contended this year and are making a change because they expect to next year. That's the right situation for him.
So on that note, as we know, he was the number 1 or number 2 thought for Hawks fans, ourselves included.
Mm-hmm.
An inferior betting site sends me gambling odds every now and again. This
they don't
is from
pay us, so we won't.
My old days at the Score.
Say their name.
Every day I get myriad of betting. I've used myriad twice in this show, and I use it correctly.
Nice.
Because I didn't say a myriad of, which makes me want to jump out a window when I hear
Word
that.
of the day, toilet paper.
The word of the day is myriad.
Is that not? Can you not say a myriad of?
It is one of those things that has been done incorrectly so frequently that they made it correct. They're like, fine, just allow it.
Yeah, I had no idea that wasn't correct.
It is not a myriad of. It is you have myriad options.
Oh,
that is grammatically
You learn
correct.
something new every day.
Yeah,
that doesn't hit my ears right.
Yeah.
So no,
a myriad. There's not a singular myriad.
Myriads?
No, it's myriad. Myriad is plural. It means several. There are several options. There are myriad options. Myriad and several are the same word.
There are
you
several.
You wouldn't say there are several options.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
There are several of options.
The more you know.
This has been Grammar Corner.
You should really get that Grammarly subscription.
Yeah, I guess I don't need it. Still waiting for that promo deal. Anyway,
like
inferior betting site
has
coaching odds for the vacancies. And there's some interesting ones in there.
This is Chicago specific?
It's all of the vacancies.
All of the okay.
Should we let make people hang out? No, we'll just do the Hawks.
I mean, I'm interested in the other ones too. But yeah.
Quenneville is the favorite for Anaheim.
Okay.
Laviolette, the favorite for Pittsburgh.
That kind of makes sense.
Tocchet, the favorite for Seattle.
All right. I mean, it's close to Vancouver. It doesn't have to go far.
Manny Malhotra, the favorite for Vancouver.
That makes a lot of sense.
And I already know I said the same, but the favorite for the Blackhawks is Rick Tocchet. I don't think that's happening.
I don't think that's happening either.
If you listen to 32 Thoughts today, Elliot Friedman speculated that Rick Tocchet might just go back to television.
You know, if I were a multi-time head coach with different teams and I had
3-2, by the way, on Tocchet.
Yeah, okay. I don't believe that whatsoever. That's why they're an inferior site. If I were Rick Tocchet and I had a myriad failures.
Incorrect.
I had myriads of failures.
No, you just have myriad failures.
I had myriad failure.
Correct. Good job.
Ugh, I feel skin's crawling saying it that way. If I had Rick Tocchett's resume and I've gone through a number of teams, and I would say the reason he became the Vancouver Canucks head coach is because he was on TV and because he was like, well, Rick Tocchett's available and he's always in front of our faces.
Yeah.
So why not hire Rick Tocchet again? I would just be in, if I had an opportunity to go to television, I would just be in television because you're going to make a lot of money.
Yep.
You can say whatever you want.
Yep.
Mostly. And you won't be held to it, success or failure, all that much. And you're going to make a ton of money.
Clearly not.
And because you do that, your name is always going to surface as well. If you can entice him away from TV, and you can, with
find your spot.
Bruce Boudreau, like he's like, well, he's doing TV, but like if you want to entice him away from it, you could. His name's out there. Rick Bowness, like he's doing TV, but you could entice him away from it. So I would, if I was Rick Tocchet, and also what Freeman said is the wording of his statement in leaving the Canucks was, he said something along the lines of like other projects, not other coaching opportunities. I feel like he is probably best served going back to TV. I have 0% faith that he will be the Blackhawks head coach.
All right, so here's the list from top to bottom for the Hawks. Rick Tocchet at 3-2, Anders Sorensen at 2-1, Jay Woodcroft 4-1, Gerard Gallant, Dodd Granato, and Brad Shaw of APA all 10-1. David Carl 11-1.
I mean, you could take that off the board.
Please, David, come on. Okay, fine. Lane Lambert, Dave Quinn, Jeff Blashill, Dan Bilesma at 12-1, Jay Leach 14-1, Todd Nelson 16-1, Dave Hextall 18-1, Bruce Boudreau 22-1. They can't hire him because it's hard to say. Bruce Boudreau and Todd McClellan 25-1.
You can't.
Exactly.
You can't hire a guy who just got
inferior websites.
Yeah. Okay. It's not Todd McClellan.
I promise you.
I know that.
Well, here's how we know this is silliness. Manny Malhotra's name is one I've heard a lot, and I know wasn't he was in that same coaching carousel of like the Spencer Carberry year. His name has been in there a lot.
Yeah.
Isn't
he an assistant with the Canucks currently?
I believe that's correct.
I think he's a former Canuck.
Yeah.
I thought he was an assistant in Vancouver. It just makes the most sense that he's just going to be the next Canucks coach.
Well, at 12-1 for the Vancouver job. Daniel or Henrik Sedin, take your pick. They're both 12-1. And if one guy's sick, the other one just shows up, and who knows? Who knows the difference?
Yeah, the old switcheroo.
Did you see the twins from Australia describing the crime?
The twins
They're
from
like,
Australia.
My mom was on and they're speaking. I can't describe it. I'm sure people have seen it. I will send it to you later. It's two twin women describing like a shooting in Australia, and they're speaking in the same tone, the same inflection at the same time. It is the creepiest thing in the world. Anyway, that's an aside.
That's how twins operate.
All right, other hockey news. We got to move quickly.
That's crazy.
Victor Hedman's leg was broken during the playoffs. He was playing on a broken leg.
Aren't we all?
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yes.
That's insane.
Fine. Hockey, baby.
Hockey players
John Cooper today, quote, I just know that if there's an organization out here better than this one, talking about Tampa, I want to see it. The way it's run.
He wasn't talking about Chicago?
No, it just exudes class from ownership all the way down. For me, it's hard to see myself anywhere else.
McLovin calling Bruce Boudreau Barbecue Bruce. That's
I thought it was Buffalo Bruce. Wasn't it wing sauce?
Probably. Could have been barbecue, though.
Could have been. Maybe it was barbecue buffalo wings.
Spicy barbecue?
Best of both worlds.
What were you saying? Oh, John Cooper.
John Cooper.
That's interesting because we're coming off of he might go to Utah and become part of the front office and everything. Sounds like he's like definitely going to stick around in
sounds
Tampa.
like that's not happening.
Good for him. I mean, that's a good setup. That's a good team. I'd rather coach the Lightning, who are still contenders, and you just happen to run into Florida in the first round again, rather than trying to take over Utah and like get a team to that level. If you already control the team that's at that level and doesn't show any signs of falling off, why not stay there?
Yep, that's what I would do. And the other bit of Lightning news, and this has been a big topic in the chat so far, Isaac Howard, unlikely to sign with Tampa. So a lot of people are like, the Hawks should trade the number 3 pick.
No.
You don't have to do that.
No, not the number 3 pick.
No.
Absolutely
If
not.
you want to trade for his rights ahead of time,
or 2 pick or whatever.
you can, but isn't he just going to be a free agent?
So he would have his college rights expire. I would imagine it is next summer that he would, I think it would be August 15th, 2026. Let me look here on the old Puckpedias. But yeah, I mean, you would, if you would trade for him, you would hold, you're trading for his draft rights because he's not signed. He's a college player.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Yeah. His sign by date is August 15th, 2026.
So if you want him now, you got to trade for him.
Yes. If you want him, you go and get him. And I'd imagine 31 other teams would be very interested in a guy like that of
30
former.
Because Tampa's not.
Yeah, there's 32 teams.
Shut up.
30.
There's myriad other teams in the league.
Oh boy. Yeah. So I would imagine there's going to be a ton of interest in him, and you might have to sweeten the deal. I mean, he was a late first round pick, Hobey Baker winner. I mean, he's been super successful in college. I think he's a guy that has professional qualities of his game already. He probably should be going pro this year, but his path in Tampa doesn't seem like it's as clear as maybe he would want. And we talked about this a couple days ago about college players just kind of like exercising their ability to be able to choose where they want to go. Like, hey, more power to you. If you don't have to sign immediately. You have that time, that 3-4 year time of your draft rights. So why not? But yeah, if I'm the Blackhawks, and he's a former late first round pick. If Kyle Davidson were to call Tampa and say, hey, we know you don't have a first round pick for the next 4 or 5 years, whatever it is, we'll give you Toronto's pick, and how about a future third or
done.
The latter of their 2 second round picks this year, just to kind of sweeten it up a little bit. I'd absolutely do that, because you're adding a guy who's 21 and ready to compete for NHL minutes. Absolutely. Throw him into the mix.
I would give that Toronto first wherever it might fall.
Yeah.
And that's not enough on its own, probably, considering the bidding war that's going to happen. I would do that
you'll have to have a good,
but come to us with the deals you're getting and let us know how we can beat it.
Yeah. I would be in on him for sure.
All right, we're at 100 likes. With that, you have earned a break zone. Good job, everybody. Thank you so much. Great work. We'll be back in 2 minutes on a CHGO Blackhawks podcast. And whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use the code CHGO365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. And with the Bet365 NHL early payout offer, you're a winner if your team gains a 3-goal lead with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. So download the app and use that code CHGO365. And if you're a new customer, you'll get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use that code CHGO365, deposit $10, place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Those bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 plus. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, in-app only.
And I know it's a little chilly today, but summer is on its way. It's going to get hotter, and it's going to be here before you know it. Is your air conditioning in your home or your living space up for the challenge? You want to make sure it is with our friends at Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. They've been serving the Chicagoland area for over 50 years, and now is the time to get your air conditioning checked out. Four Seasons experts are ready to help you with your AC installation, maintenance, and repair. Did you know last summer was Chicago's hottest summer on record, with the heat index even reaching 114 degrees over at O'Hare? That's a lot of degrees.
Too many
degrees, some would say. When it's hot and humid, you know your home will be cool and comfortable because Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric took care of your air conditioning system. And their expert technicians ensure you will always receive reliable service. Four Seasons doesn't charge more for service during nights, weekends, and holidays. So if you have an emergency and you need Four Seasons to get out there and take care of it, it's the night before you're hosting your big 4th of July party and the AC goes out, and tomorrow as high as 110 degrees, they can get you out there in that emergency situation, get you cooled down so you can sweat only over the hot grill with your brats and hot dogs and all your good stuff out there. I'm so excited for grilling season, 4th of July season.
I've already grilled several myriad times.
Yes. I heard grilling season is one of the 4 that they cover.
Yes.
You can also save up to $4,000 on a new comfort system with Four Seasons, new AC units at $39 a month, and new AC furnace combos starting at $57 a month. So your trusted local experts are Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit Four Seasons heatingcooling.com for all of their special offers and money-saving coupons. Again, that's Four Seasons heatingcooling.com. Can I add to the news and notes of the NHL?
Yes.
This is from the 100% Hockey Podcast. We're about 95% hockey on this one.
5% grammar.
But this is from the 100% Hockey Podcast with John Shannon. I believe they were speaking with Jim Rutherford. So you know where this is going.
Yep.
Speaking on Quinn Hughes, quote, "We control him for a year and 2/3 because if we get to that trade deadline 2 years from now and it looks like he doesn't want to stay, then we would have to do something." So Quinn Hughes on his way out from Vancouver.
That is really...
Let's start that
now. What are they doing?
Because they are laying the foundation for trading Quinn Hughes.
Why? Good Lord. Like, the way people talk about Kyle Davidson being a blithering idiot in our chat and online, are you looking at what's happening in Vancouver? Since the season ended, they've crapped their pants several times. Stop talking.
You do not have to do every media obligation.
Yes.
It's
quiet.
Crazy. They keep putting their foot in their mouth, and I'm not surprised Rick Tocchet is saying, I'd rather go back to TV.
Get me out of here.
I'd rather talk hockey with Paul Bissonnette and Liam McHugh and all those guys than talk hockey with Patrick Allvin and Jim Rutherford anymore.
Probably put his head through the drywall.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's
brutal.
Man. Well, New Jersey.
And I heard Elliot Friedman say it today that, like, if you're Tom Fitzgerald, you call Vancouver today and be like, hey,
you guys have literally said he wants to play with his brother.
Yeah, and if, like, you're not going to win next year, what's it going to take?
That's crazy.
They've got nice young pieces.
Sure.
New Jersey.
Sure.
I don't know if they got enough to get Quinn Hughes, unless they want to give up Jack, which defeats the purpose.
No. You mortgage the rest of your drafts for a guy like Quinn Hughes.
And yes, as Philip points out, Connor Bedard cannot wait to get to Vancouver.
Yes.
To be with...
Leave Chicago.
Good Lord.
To go to Vancouver because it's so much better over there.
All right, before we get to our list, we have several chats we want to get to. $2 from Windy City Hockey says the Canucks shoot themselves every day, it feels. Yes, it has. It certainly has that sense.
Myriad shots.
Moot the Cat says Bedard is going to walk the path of Brett Hull and become an American. Let freedom ring. There you go. I like that.
He's defecting from Canada.
And Chuck Fee 23 says Jay needs to look up myriad in a dictionary because it's indeed a noun as well as an adjective. As I said earlier, it has been added as a noun because it is used incorrectly so often. Just like irregardless. Irregardless is not a word, but people have said it so many times they threw it in a dictionary. There we go.
Is yeet in the dictionary?
I wonder if it is, because they add stuff every year.
Yeah.
I think it is, yeah. I think it was one of those words that got added.
Nice.
It is a good word.
Yeet?
Yeet is slang used to express surprise, approval, or excited enthusiasm.
Not to throw
or
something?
To throw especially with force and without the regard for the thing being thrown.
Yeah, I was going to say. That's usually how I use it.
Love without regard for the thing being thrown. That's amazing.
That's great.
All right. Enough nonsense.
Yeah.
Had myriad side
that's the
topics
5%
today.
non-hockey.
Yes. All right. So with Marc-Andre Fleury's career officially over as Minnesota is eliminated last night, we wanted to share our top 5 one season only Blackhawks of all time. And it took me a while. I sent you that link to Hockey Reference.
Yes.
Where you can literally click how many years played they did. You know how many seasons I went through before I realized it had that feature? Probably 25 years of just previous season, like looking at guys' names. No, I could have just done it all in 15 minutes.
Myriad years.
Now, I don't think any of these guys are on the list, but I wanted to get some special shout outs for these guys.
Honorable mentions.
Paul Coffey.
10 games?
10 games. Basil McRae, 8 games.
Oh, nice.
Wendell Clark, 13 games.
So if Tate McRae comes to Chicago for a concert,
yes,
she can wear her dad's jersey.
That's true.
8 games, right?
Yes.
That's her dad?
He was, are you asking for his jersey number?
No, you would know.
Or is 17, or is Basil McRae her dad?
Yeah.
I thought you were serious.
No, that's her dad, right?
Oh, well, she's from Canada. Her name's McRae. It's got to be.
I thought, hold on.
And I was very close. Honorable mention. Who could forget the 12 games played for the Blackhawks by Harry Dick back in the day?
That's his name.
I mean, those were unforgettable.
No.
They call that the Dick era.
Basil McRae is not her dad.
No, that's a shame.
Never mind. I thought that's what it was. I thought she had that tie to hockey as well as her famous ex-boyfriend.
All right, so we're going to go
I'm way off track here.
Back to front. 5-1.
Mhm.
1 year favorite Blackhawks and why. Mario, you go first.
My number 5 is Max Domi.
What a pass yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, he is.
Instead of Pacioretty.
He's a guy that
Good player.
when we did our which former Hawk that's playing in the playoffs would you want back, he was a guy that was on my list. I just, coming into being a Blackhawk, I think we had a lot of preconceived notions about Max Domi, and the last name precedes him a little bit. But having covered him, watched him play, just seeing the reaction from the locker room to him, the way he plays, personality he has. Even though it was 2/3 of a season, I enjoyed Max Domi being able to come to Chicago, and look, there were people that wore Domi jerseys. Like, he very quickly endeared himself to the team, and I mean, if there was the opportunity for just re-sign him after you trade him, that would have been one guy that I would have liked to have seen that actually happen for. I liked having Max Domi here for a short time. And he also gave us his opinions on the official drink of the NHL, the former official drink of the NHL.
Can we now that they're out of business, we can talk about this.
Yes.
He hated BioSteel.
That was, that inside joke was Max Domi. There was an interview I was doing with Andreas Athanasiou at the time, who's sitting right next to Max Domi, and I forget the exact quote, but he basically was just like, that stuff tastes like ass or something.
Yeah, it was something.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I think it was the peach flavor if you're looking for.
Yeah, BioSteel was.
I didn't mind it. It was all right.
It had a weird thickness to it. If you're trying to be a high performance athlete, it's a good drink.
Right here.
So that's why
That's me.
You had it stocked. But Body Armor, the one that it is now, I prefer way more than BioSteel. It's more easily accessible.
That's true.
It tastes better, and the benefits of it are closer to that of like the commercial quote unquote benefits that people drink Gatorade for, but it's less sugar.
Speaking of Gatorade, at the old Mariano's today, I saw they got mix-ups. It's like 2 flavors mixed.
Oh.
They got the orange and a lemon lime mixed together, and then a fruit punch and whatever blue is.
Blue?
Yeah. I got some. I'm going to try them.
Was it
this
Blue
weekend.
Blast?
Whatever blue Gatorade is. I don't know what flavor that is.
I think it's probably blue raspberry, but
all right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You're number 5.
My number 5 is Pat Maroon. I enjoyed Pat Maroon's time in Chicago because big fella, appreciate that. I really think he did have a meaningful impact on the young players on the team. And it's not just Lucas Reichel. I think a lot of those guys took Pat Maroon's advice to heart, because if you go back to the beginning of Pat Maroon's career, it did not get off to the smoothest start.
No.
Like, Philly basically punted on him. And Anaheim was like, well, we're going to give you a shot, and everything kind of started for him there.
Yeah.
And he talks about when he got to Anaheim, the first guy to help him assimilate to the NHL and become a pro was Teemu Selanne, who at that point in Teemu Selanne's career, really at any point in Teemu Selanne's career, but at that point, the Anaheim days, he didn't have to take some young player under his wing.
Mm-hmm.
He's like Hall of Fame status already. And I think Pat Maroon took that from Solane and said, hey, when these young guys come to Chicago, I'm going to try to do the same thing for them. I also, any big man with hands, like there was like once a game, Pat Maroon would do something where you're like, whoa. It wouldn't always end up in the back of the net.
Yeah. But I mean, he could set up really good passes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that he was number 5 on my list. Maybe as time goes by, he might fall off. It might be recency bias. But I did really enjoy, and like number 77, great number.
It's a good number.
I really enjoyed Pat Maroon's time here.
Revived the legacy of 77 after Kirby Dach
Yeah.
sullied it.
It's a great number. It's the year I was born. It's always my creative
yeah.
player number.
My number 4 is Stanley Cup winner, Kimmo Timonen. It was about 6 minutes a night we got to see him play for the Blackhawks, but what a 6 minutes it was. It was more the story of, the health issues he went through, basically going from being in a hospital bed in August of his final year of his career, what ended up being the final year of his career, getting to Chicago, getting to play in the Cup final, getting to raise the Cup. He's the first guy that Jonathan Toews passes the Cup to in 2015. Ends his career as a Stanley Cup champion. Just an awesome story. So for that fact alone, I have Kimmo Timonen on there. And by all accounts, super nice guy.
Yeah,
like well respected around the league. Like a very very good defenseman in his prime. Probably top 10 in the league in his prime. And then he gets to Chicago and he's the old guy you're going to win the Cup for, and they did it.
and let's not forget him getting completely head faked by Patrick Kane, leading to the Hawks' first Cup in 61 years.
Yeah, so he
not 61, 49 years.
49. Yeah, he contributed to 2 Blackhawks Stanley Cups.
Yes, he did. Number 4 on my list is John Madden. Speaking of the 2010, boom, tough acting, Tinactin. Added that 2010 team, kind of like all right, this is a nice little pickup, kind of under the radar because they did so many other things. And just, again, like a consummate pro, Cup winner, does everything the way it's supposed to be done. That's another guy who's going to be a head coach someday, you would imagine.
Yeah. Isn't he already an assistant?
He is. Yeah, is he with the Devils?
I'll look it up. You keep waxing.
Yeah, I think that he is just, that signing kind of was a really savvy move to bring in a guy who, okay, we know we are ready for a Cup run here. Let's bring in someone who's been through it before
who's done it,
and can help show. And, when things get tough, I always think of the moment during the 2016 World Series where Anthony Rizzo was like really stressed out and just went to David Ross like, what do I do?
Yeah, right.
Like, how do I emotionally handle this? Yeah. And he said, you just got to breathe it out and just relax. Like, that stuff is invaluable. So I'll take him. And Jason T says, can we talk about John Madden shirtless? Yes, that was the Vancouver limo situation.
At least a responsible adult was there with
he was
young
babysitting.
Patrick Kane
his
and
shirt
Jonathan
fell
Toews.
off.
Yeah, he spilled.
Yeah,
just those roads are bumpy.
They are
sometimes.
Yes.
So John Madden, currently an assistant coach with the Utah Hockey Club. He's been an NHL assistant with the Panthers back in 2013-14, 14-15, 15-16. Was the Cleveland Monsters AHL head coach 16-17, 17-18, 18-19. And since 2 years with the Sharks as an assistant coach in 2021 and 21-22. And then the past 3 seasons he's been with Arizona/Utah as an assistant. So throw his name on the list of potential Blackhawks
Let's
head
talk
coaches.
to him.
Why
Let's
not?
Go.
Throw him in there, yeah. I have John Madden as number 3 for all the reasons you said. Played the role that you wanted him to. Helped that young team. Just definitely endeared himself as a one and done with Chicago. So that was great. And Giggity's for Stieg and Toews, not Kane and Toews.
Yes.
Kane had his own things going on at that time. That was for Stieg.
And number 3 on my list, 2015, they finally solve the number 2 center void.
Mm-hmm.
After all these years. Brad Richards. They signed Brad Richards, and he gives the second line center for the whole season and a Stanley Cup as they needed. And a special affection for him as he was one of the Hawks who brought the cup to the Score Studios.
Oh, nice.
That's when I accidentally touched the cup.
Oh, how dare you?
I know, you're not supposed to if you haven't played and won it yourself.
So,
and Patrick Sharp was struggling. I don't think he was struggling, but he was trying to find the edge of the table. And I'm like, here, let me help you. And I was like,
So you're to blame.
It was mindless. It was a mindless cup grab. I was just trying to help. And then I ran it around the office.
Shirtless.
Yeah.
Brad Richards. He's on my list as well. But yeah, just to finally have a guy that you're like, yes, someone that can be that second line center, someone that you can not have to squint real hard and be like, oh, can he play that position? Like, how are they going to be able to, fit with the group? Like, he had all the measurables there, was a former cup winner. Not that team needed more, cups in the room, so to say, but just, solidified that spot. I really wanted him to stay. I remember shortly after them winning the cup, I think it might have been like at the parade or something, he said like Chicago has felt like home.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they're gonna sign him. And then I was like, and then he didn't, and then I'm glad that he didn't, because I think he retired after that next season because he went to
the Rangers,
right? He came from the Rangers.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yes, he went to Detroit.
Yeah, and he did not play well.
28 points in 68 games.
Yeah, so
he had 37 and 76 for the Hawks for the record.
Yeah.
So I believe he had a pretty solid playoff for the Hawks, though.
Yeah, I think he had like 12
14 points in 23 games.
Yeah, decent.
Yeah, it's solid. You'll take
also
that.
had the primary assist on the final goal of the cup run.
Yep.
Nice. All right, where are we at? Number 2? That was your number 3?
Yes.
Okay. Number 2, the guy who inspired this list, this segment, Marc-Andre Fleury. Again, only 2/3 of a season, but it was awesome to have him here in Chicago. And I remember the courting of Marc-Andre Fleury. He was a free agent, contemplating retirement, and you could still see like he had game left in him. And obviously he played 3 more years after, being in Chicago. And I just remember like the rumors that, Fleury is entertaining coming to Chicago. And, this is when we were in the midst of like, oh, here's some young players that are getting an opportunity. And then, oh, we're going to get Seth Jones and Jake McCabe and Marc-Andre Fleury's possible. And it kind of, I remember Fleury coming to Chicago and being like, oh, they're actually going for this. Like, this is fun at the time. And then, first handful of games and you realize this isn't the Marc-Andre Fleury of the early 2010s. And this group of Blackhawks is not coached by the right guy, and it's not the right mix of guys. And slowly but surely, all that hope faded away. But it was fun to have him here. His pads were awesome. Just having his personality connected with the team was great. And to have a legend like him, have chosen Chicago at one point, I think that was just a lot of fun. So that's why he was number 2.
Well, he's on my list as well, but I'll save it for the big reveal. My number 2 is Brian McCabe, who was traded by the Blackhawks for Alexander Karpovtsev, and then went on to become an all-star, as Pat Foley reminded us all, with the Toronto Maple Leafs. McCabe started his career with the Islanders and Canucks and came and had 79 games with the Hawks, 25 points as a defenseman, 139 penalty minutes, played 23 minutes a night, was very much like he was a very Jake McCabe-like, actually, with a little more offense to his game. And for whatever reason, Bob Pulford could not wait to trade Brian McCabe to, and that was Mike Smith, actually. Yes, that was Mike Smith who made that trade. I guess he just wanted Russians. And that's what happened. But Brian McCabe was a stud middle pair defenseman forever. Went on to play, 10 more years at least?
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more years. Yeah. Brian McCabe was a stud defenseman. Not like flashy, but just what everybody needs, what every team needs, and one season was enough for the Blackhawks, apparently. Ugh. That one still chaps my ass. Ugh.
Yep.
That's it. That's
Not
all I gotta
related
say.
to Jake McCabe.
No.
But very similar.
No.
Yeah. Probably different families, but maybe from the same area of the UK.
I know like 25 McCabes that are not related. So I think it's a pretty common name.
Nice. All right. Down to number 1.
Yep.
My number 1 is one that we've already mentioned, Brad Richards. Came in, like you said, filled that role, was one of the, like, you know, of that era, there weren't, once you got Hossa and then once you started, you know, winning the few cups, there really wasn't a big free agent splash signing that I can really remember that was like, oh, this will marketably improve the team.
Yeah.
Because you kind of felt like that team was pretty much solid with the guys that they had invested in and had around that core of that group. But with Richards, it was just like, oh, they're going to be better. And coming off of, you know, falling short in 2014 in the Western Conference Final and everything, getting Brad Richards at that time, like I was very excited for that. Did exactly what he needed to do.
Yeah.
They come away with the cup. Boom. My favorite one-term, 1-year Blackhawk.
And number 1 on my list is the inspiration for the list, as you mentioned before, Marc-Andre Fleury. And I just remember, you know, waiting for him to decide if he's going to accept that trade.
Mm-hmm.
And then he does it like from a tarmac.
Yeah.
Hey, Chicago, I'm ready to come to town and let's go. That was it was like maybe only 2 or 3 days, but it just felt like an eternity.
Yeah.
And it was an honor to see him play for the Hawks. And yeah, you're right. He wasn't the same guy that he has been his whole career. I don't really think he has been since leaving Vegas, but one of the most beloved and respected NHL players of my lifetime, just based on the way that his teammates and his opponents talk about him.
Yeah.
They love that dude. And, you know, good in the community. I mean, just think of the way that the Vegas Golden Knights fans acted when he got traded.
Oh, yeah.
They were livid. And they only had him for a year or 2 years, maybe. I think it was 2.
He was their first pick in the expansion draft.
Yeah.
So that would have been the 17-18 season.
Yeah.
Because they went to the
Yeah, you're right.
Because they went to the 2018 Cup final.
Yeah. So, I mean, he is a beloved figure, and I always kind of, when you walk around the United Center, you see people in their Hawks jerseys like, oh, man, I can't believe the guy bought that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I saw a guy with a maroon jersey, and you're like, they're probably not the safest investment. But a Fleury Hawks jersey, that's something that is so cool
Yeah.
that it's worth having. The 1 year was worth buying a jersey for.
I'd say so.
Yeah. And like you said, like his pads were awesome. He had like the helmet that was designed by Native American artists.
Yeah,
and,
with the flower designs and everything. Really cool.
Really cool. All right. Some of the people on the list that we didn't get to, I already mentioned Harry Dick and Basil McRae and Paul Coffey and Wendell Clark. Bobby Orr, washed. 26 games. The corpse of Bobby Orr in 26 games with the Hawks, 27 points.
Bum. Just like his knees. Bum.
Robert Lang.
Uh-huh. Yep.
I know Matthias Janmark, who had a hand in Edmonton's win yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
How about Henry Okaharu? Only 1 year with the Hawks. Pretty crazy. Theo Fleury.
In the NHL, yeah.
Matthew Barnaby. Peter Bondra, a couple people have said in the chat. He scored his 500th with them. Marty Turco.
He was fun. Yeah.
How about Brendan Morrison? Remember that? Vancouver legend?
I do.
A lot of people mention Antoine Vermette.
That was the 11-12 team? Morrison? Or was he the 10-11? He was. I think he was on one of those
before the cup
teams.
runs. Maybe you're right. Check that out. Other names I had on the list were Pia Suter, Robin Leonard, Chris Kunitz, Cam Ward, Anthony Duclair.
He was on the 11-12 team.
Okay.
For 11 games.
Yeah, I can't. To me, in my brain, that felt like it was before the cup runs, but I guess not. Anyway, let us know your favorites in the chat or in the comments if you're watching us on YouTube late. But it was not as big of a list as I thought it would be in terms of like accomplished players that had 1 year. We pretty much mentioned, if we didn't pick them, a couple others like Kevin Adams, Sabres GM Kevin Adams was a Hawk for a year. Brian Boucher, the goalie and broadcaster.
Yep.
Jordan Tutu, Nikita Zadorov,
Zadorov was fun for
Yeah.
that short time.
And Sergei Samsonov only played 23 games for the Hawks. Felt like a lot more. I think he was hurt for a spell of it, though. So he was around, but not actually playing. Ryan says Ray Emery. Ray Emery had 2 years with the Hawks.
Yeah.
Yep. There were a few that felt like one that were two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I mean,
that was Jake McCabe as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, McCabe. Darn. Yeah. No, it's a fun exercise. A lot of oh yeah, I forgot.
Yes.
Like, kind of guys
guy?
like that. Yeah. Hey, before we go, we should mention Ice Hogs last night. Colton Dock, OT winner.
12 seconds in.
First game back in the lineup, and with an immediate impact. He was physical the entire game. Before the game started, a couple days before, he was talking to the media and said, like, my goal is to just let them know that I'm there. I'm going to be in their face, physical, around the net, and he did exactly that. And then also scores the OT winner, and to be down 0-2 in the game,
did not look good.
15-second span, giving up 2 goals, and then they come back in that third period and then get the OT winner. It was awesome. Drew Comezzo, again, a solid game in net. He's only allowed 3 goals in 3 games with a shutout.
That's a goals against of 1.
That is true. That's good math. So yeah, it's Ice Hogs up 1-0 in the best of 5 series. So you got to win 3 games to advance. That was their first win this year in Milwaukee. So let's see if they can make it 2 on tomorrow night.
That's the hope. A couple of people chiming in, by the way. Doug Gilmore played 2 years. Somebody said Bob Probert. Bob Probert played 7 years in Chicago.
Half his career was in Chicago.
That's not a 1-year wonder.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, that was fun. Thanks for being with us. Mini pod drops tomorrow.
Yes.
Can we talk about it, or is it a secret?
No,
I think we already talked about it. We're going to do a little draft profile.
Yep.
Tomorrow is Matthew Schaefer. We're going to do one pretty much every week leading up to the draft. Probably do the top 5 prospects.
Yeah.
When you see that drop,
the big ones,
give it a listen, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, all that stuff. Thanks for all the likes today. We appreciate that. And
lottery on Monday.
Yeah. So we have no idea what the time is. And by the way, during the show, the Hawks sent an invite for a media event, and they don't know the time of the draft lottery broadcast yet because it says time TBA. Well, so we will see.
They got to figure out the schedule technically for the next round.
Yeah.
And there's still at least one Game 7 yet to be played.
So the Bedard show, we started at 7.
No, 5:30.
The Bedard show
right?
was 5:30?
Wasn't it?
No, the one I looked up, we started at 7.
Last year's, we started at 5:30.
Yeah, so we don't know yet.
It might be the same.
We will let you know. As soon as we have a time, we'll let you know on social media.
Yeah, we'll announce it.
But we will be live during the draft lottery, and then we'll do a full reaction show afterwards. So Monday's show, TBD. So we'll talk to you then. Greg will be here, too, for that show. So Should be a lot of fun. We'll talk to you then on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.